Does Josh know he's muted?
In the chat, it says he can't hear anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear now. I just changed it.
So let's start. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of our live stream series called Phemex Crypto Talk. My name is Victoria, and I'm part of the Phemex team, and I'm very excited to continue this amazing project. The idea behind it is to have a place where everyone can learn something new that can help no matter the trading experience you have. At Phemex, our main drive has always been to help others manage risk efficiently and trade simply and safely. And this is yet another step by us towards achieving this goal. Phemex Crypto Talk is where we invite experienced cryptocurrency traders to discuss all crypto-related topics, from educational topics, personal experience and knowledge, to the latest news, market insights, and current events. We strongly encourage all of you to actively comment and express your views on the discussion our guests will have, because during the live stream, our guests might answer your questions, and if they choose your comment, we will gift you with a $50 trading bonus. And as most of you might know, we are about to start our first ever trading competition, the Phemex Traders Arena, on October 24th, running until the 7th of November. You can register as a team captain since September 24th, and from October 9th on, you can also register as a team member to any of the teams you see on the landing page. The teams will compete against each other with a prize pool that ranges from 2 BTC up to 100 Bitcoin. The teams will earn rewards based on their trading performance during the competition, but there will be plenty of individual rewards for some of the best traders. On top of that, we will have special events going on for the PT Arena traders, such as each traders who participate in the PT Arena will receive a $10 trading bonus and get a 10% discount on trading fees during the competition, participate in daily $1,000 giveaways, get a chance to receive our special Phemex Traders Arena merch. So make sure you gather up your friends or find a good team and sign up to earn as much as possible from the competition. If you need more information about our competition, watch the latest AJA YouTube video where Jack, our CEO, answered all of the questions about it. And of course, visit the competition landing page. And as for today, we are super excited to welcome our very special guests from the crypto world and Phemex Traders Arena team captains, the CEO and co-founder of Phemex, Jack Tao.
Hey, everyone.
Faraz, known as Faraz Y1 on Twitter.
Hello.
Josh, aka Josh Rager. Ryan, aka Cantarine Clark. And our main host for today, Karush, also known as Karush AK on Twitter. So hi guys, could you please introduce yourself in a few words? And maybe Jack, could you start?
Hey everyone, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Phemex. This is the third episode, and let's have some fun.
Faraz?
Hello, this is Firas, engineer, full-time trader, and very excited actually to be part of this competition. And have fun and good luck.
Hey, the rest of the guys, you can just go on.
Yeah, hey, it's Josh, and co-founder with Blockroots with Ryan, and just wanted to say hey, and always glad to be here. It's a little early my time, so if I sound a little sluggish, that's why, but always happy to be here and talk with you guys.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ryan, aka Cantarine Clark, co-founder of Blockroots, partner with Josh, and full-time Bitcoin trader. As always, happy to be here as well.
Hello, everyone. I am the main host for today. Again, if you remember me from last time, Karush AK. You can find me on Twitter. I'm a trader, investor, cryptocurrency educator, and I do a lot of different stuff in the space. Looking forward to hosting this show.
Thank you so much for the brief introduction, guys. We are so happy to have you here. And now for the topic of today, as you are the PT Arena team captains, we will be speaking about trading strategies that you can use for the trading competition. But we will also talk a bit about the recent market news and updates. So therefore, Karush, if you please take over. And meanwhile, if you have any interesting questions for the team captains, or you viewers want to share anything, leave us a comment in the comment section.
Okay, thank you very much, Victoria. That was awesome. Yeah, so today we're going to discuss the trading competition. This is probably the biggest event happening on Phemex right now. It's exciting and it's good fun. Fun being one of the key words, because a trading competition is very different to real life trading. Now, there are parallels and similarities, of course, but it's a completely different game. And I'm pretty sure all of our experienced traders over here can offer insight and explain these differences in a little more detail. I have my thoughts, but if one of our guests would like to start off the conversation talking about a fundamental difference they find between actual trading outside of a competition and trading within a competition.
Yeah, so I'll start. Thanks a lot, Karush. I think that obviously one of the most obvious differences is that there is a beginning and an end, which implies that there's a period in between that you essentially have to trade. So I think that for some people it might be difficult, or it might require getting acclimated to, if you don't have a strategy that normally falls within that window of time, or maybe that level of activity. Especially during a period like right now, I think one of the more important things to note is that you want to be present and trading, whether you're a low time frame trader or a higher time frame trader, when there's a lot of activity. And right now, whether you're looking at 10-day realized volatility or 30-day realized volatility, they're all pretty low. So yeah, like normal trading, might involve me actually not being in the market during a period where volatility is low, whereas when you have a trading competition, you're sort of incentivized to be a little bit more active than you maybe normally would.
Fantastic. And that activity also comes from, I'd expand on that by saying there's a game theory element to a trading competition. When your goal is to win the competition and get as high an ROI as possible. And you know that if you do not reach that ROI, going to zero is fine, because your goal is to risk and try and get as high an ROI as you can during this competition. And that's a fundamental difference, I'd say, between trading outside of a competition, because outside of a competition, you're trying to get long-term sustainable growth on a portfolio. In a competition, you're trying to get the highest percentage ROI you can. And that's why you're forced to become more active. You're forced to take on more risk than you normally would. Now, yeah, do any of our other guests have anything they'd like to expand upon the differences between a trading competition and trading outside of a competition?
Yes, I can share my point of view actually. I have participated in several competitions before, and yes, what you have told already is very correct. The issue is during the competition you have a limited time, and you don't trade with all your portfolio. Actually, you trade with very specific amount allocated for this competition, which is usually a small amount, very small amount actually, because your goal is not to grow a big wealth. Actually, your goal is to achieve the highest. So you need, we can never know. The competition will be only for BTC USD contracts. So we can never know if there will be enough volatility or trending, or we will get some kind of chop during that period. First of all, we will take maybe more risk tolerance than usual during such kind of competitions. Second, we need to trade on lower time frames because you need to be active. You can't swing trade during a competition actually. Also, to achieve higher ROI, you need to sometimes to use higher leverage. But the higher leverage you use, that means the lower time frame you need to use. For example, if you are trading a daily time frame, so your tolerance, for example, your stop loss or something, maybe it will be 5 or 10% far, or maybe 2, 3, 5% far from current price. So your leverage is limited to maybe X1, X2, X3. But when you are trading 1 minute, maybe scalping 3 minute, 5 minute, 10 minutes time frame, so you can use higher. You are aiming for higher ROI, so you can use higher leverage because your tolerance, actually risk tolerance, is a bit higher. Also, the volatility, when you are talking about 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes time frame, the volatility will be actually less. So you need to play lower time frames, in my opinion. You need to be actively trading to accumulate these higher ROI. You need to have different risk measures than you use in your everyday trading. And finally, it will be fun actually. I have been actually we have arranged several internal in trading ABCD. I run a trading community also. We run several such competitions. I think it will be a lot of fun, especially when teams are trading together, actually communicating with each other. So also, I would like to advise everyone who is joining the competition to go small, not to go with a big account. You can't go with 10 or 100 BTC in a competition, because it's not about the how much profit you make. It's about ROI as a percentage. So this is one advice, very important advice we would like to advise the participant, also to be active and to trade small time frames. This is very important, to focus on small time frames, actually, not weekly, not monthly, even not daily. Yeah.
Thank you, Faraz. You covered a lot in that segment, and that was really useful. One thing I'd like to actually have you expand upon for the listeners and watchers of the show is, you said to specifically avoid swing trading. You did explain why the lower time frame trading is beneficial, but why specifically would you avoid swing trading in a competition like this?
Yes, the issue is there is a competition window. We have these 14 days, and we need to achieve the highest ROI we achieve here. Now, when you are swing trading, you don't use X10, X20, X50 leverage when you are swing trading, actually. Maybe use spot or use very basic X1, X2, X3, maybe X3 maximum. This is my style, actually, for risk measures. So you can't swing trade, because maybe the competition will end before you achieve your TP1, actually, while others will be scalping low time frames and accumulating those small moves, longing, shorting, changing, because Bitcoin it doesn't go up in a straightforward way, or down, or any asset, any tradable asset. So there are always these pullbacks if we are going up, and there are always these also pullbacks if we are going down. So scalping lower time frames instead of swinging and waiting, maybe if you swing Bitcoin for 10-20%, no, actually, if you scalp lower time frames, this is more efficient, because we have very limited window. It will be 14 days, 2 weeks for this competition. Yes.
Thank you, Faraz. That definitely helps explain the point. I would perhaps counter with one instance where swing trading could be helpful, and that is if you're already close to the top of the competition. If you're already in a leading position, not swing trading specifically, but reducing your risk and just trying to maintain your lead until the time comes when you need to stretch your lead out if someone manages to overtake you. Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to add anything to the parallels and differences between trading in real life and or a competition?
I also
Yeah.
point.
Go ahead, Jack.
Thanks. So I want to point out this: everyone signed up for a team. So to add to one more point is that actually different team member can be different. If they communicate with each other, it's better to have a different strategy. Some you may want to go a little bit aggressive at the beginning, and if that profit, you want to be conservative to keep your position. Or if you didn't do any action, you keep waiting, you want to go aggressive in the end. So the point is, your team has to have to communicate to maximize the opportunity. And if all of you go aggressive strategy and kind of will risky, right? So that's someone you can still do swing if you think that's a good strategy, but don't make everyone in your team to do the same strategy at the same time.
Jack, that's awesome. And it really hones in on a point which we haven't looked into too much, which is the team element of this competition. Real life trading, unless you're at a firm, you're not really on a team. You're doing your own thing. So communicating between each other and trying to find those clever strategies where you get different people doing different things is really awesome. Josh, you had something to add as well?
Yeah, I was just saying, just your frame of mind, right? So I mean, again, you're so used to, hopefully you were used to having good risk management. Some people are very successful at high leverage, right? I know personally for me, I start to sweat if I'm over 5-10x. So yeah, it's just a different frame of mind, because certainly I will do higher leverage on a trading competition just because I don't have as much to risk, right? I'm not risking a high amount of my portfolio. So willing to take the risk, and you just have to adjust to that, right? So I think that just trying to get comfortable with that, and and I think it's probably a good thing that maybe you don't feel as comfortable being at high as risk, when you're trading in a trading competition, just because you're so used to hopefully having good risk management. So, for me, I know it is an adjustment. The last competition, just cranking up the leverage just a little bit more, and just trying I watch the chart a little bit more. So I think that's also something too, one of those things where, of course, if you're in a swing trade, some other trades, you're maybe not watching the chart as much, but I tend to want to sit at my desk and my computer and really watch how things are happening in real time when I'm doing this. So, a few differences there just for me. So.
Thank you, Josh. It seems everyone but me has experience in a previous trading competition like this, so I'm very excited to go up against you guys and have some fun here. Right, so the next topic we want to cover is now let's dive into the specifics. We've been talking very generally, but specific strategies we want to use within a competition. Obviously, we don't have to give away exactly what we're going to do, but general things people can follow. Now, we touched on scalping itself, and I also talked about the game theory side. Now, if we bring in the fact that you need a team as well, then a lot of clever things can happen. You just need to remember that end goal of getting the max ROI and then reverse engineer and try to get there. Now, what does that reverse engineer part means? It means calculate and have different people doing different things on your team. So your initial goal is to get as high as you can on that leaderboard. Once you're there, the goal becomes to maintain your position until someone overtakes you. And that would be my overall general strategy talk with regards to this. Now, someone with more experience can talk more specifically about a strategy that they have employed within a trading competition and how they use that.
Yeah, I guess we'll start. I mean, I'll start. So I've done trading competition before, and I originally, I approached trading competition trying to maintain, I guess, the same integrity with regard to my normal strategy as I would outside of a competition. And the slow growth thing doesn't really work. And I also went to the last competition depositing a considerable amount of Bitcoin compared to what you need to. Not really obviously doing my homework in the fact that you don't need to deposit much, and you could really swing for the fences with a smaller amount and actually have less market impact to begin with. So since we're all starting so small, or most people should start very small, and whatever the initial entry is, whether it's 0.01 BTC or 0.02 BTC, even if you don't have large rotation size or ATR is low, or even like I said earlier, if volatility is low, you have, I guess, a better chance of just riding short-term momentum because you don't have any market impact. You're not going to have any market impact even if it was slightly higher, but still you're not really causing much of an impression, against the actual order book. So you could ride trends a little bit more smoothly on the lower time frame. As far as my personal approach, I think that I'm probably going to try to catch a few wicks on higher leverage and to really grow the account early, fast, and then try to maintain some sort of consistent, smooth sailing from that point. I think that if you get on the top of the leaderboard early, you could also force other people to make mistakes. Just from a psychological standpoint, if you, 4x, 5x your account, there's arbitrary numbers, obviously. Other people who are maybe slow outside of the gate might be incentivized to try to swing a little bit harder. And then hopefully from that point, from your early positioning, you cause other people to sort of fall out of the race. As far as one of my approaches, if volatility stays the way it is, then that more or less has to dictate my approach. I can't really try to impress myself on the market and approach it like it's a tree that I get to shake and pull money from. So volatility stays the way it is. I'll probably try to gauge a feel for current momentum, current rhythm, identify where value is developing, and then try to what looks like take advantage of a mean reverting market that we have right now. Obviously, the trend is really not any longer present. So without any kind of longer term trend or serial correlation, it'll be the case that I try to really stay on the outer edges of the ranges and try to, again, catch some sort of move outside of the normal movement for that mean reversion play.
That was awesome, Ryan. Thank you. And now to perhaps mirror a question which our listeners might have from one I gathered from what you were saying. You said the slow growth strategy doesn't work. And by slow growth strategy, I assume you mean your normal trading, the regular trading you do. You've tried that before and that didn't work. So my question would be, can you take that same strategy and just up the risk? And would that be effective for a competition?
Yeah, of course. Of course you can, because, you know, at this point, obviously trading with a much smaller position, you could swing harder because your opportunity, you know, your risk at this point is what? Reloading your trading account for a very small amount of money versus swinging for the fences with your own personal account, which is obviously very dangerous because your personal trading capital is your bank and it is your business. So of course can change your approach, but my point, I guess, is in the last trading competition, you know, one, as a captain, you're trying to, I guess, convey the idea of proper risk management to begin with. You don't want to blow up immediately in the first week as a trading captain, right? So I tried to approach it in this slow growth manner. And I think the last one I did, I was up 37%. And then I think I liquidated myself on trying to 100x. So just to give you an idea, is when you swing and you're doing things outside of your comfort zone, I think to a degree in the competitions you have to, but again, it's not something that maybe I'm necessarily familiar with. That being said, if you don't in a competition, you don't really stand a chance because you're not going to win a competition with a 50x, not a 50x, a 50% account growth, 100% account growth. Those things might sound great if you're applying them to the entire portfolio, but you're not winning a competition unless you, I think, at least pull 300%, 400%, 500%, because you have people that are working as an entire team, as Jack said, and they're optimizing on behalf of their team to really pull in a total, complete, high, ridiculous ROI number, and it just doesn't really cater to those that are applying proper risk management.
Wow, yeah. I think I've definitely hugely overlooked the importance of the team strategy within these competitions, but we'll learn, and I'm sure everyone who hasn't participated in one before will have a great learning experience out of it as well. Now, specific strategies, we've heard from Ryan. Faraz, Josh, Jack, would you like to add anything to this?
I have one small advice. We didn't start yet. It's post-competition advice. Whoever participate in this, even if you see some great results like X2, X3, X4, your account in 10 days or 2 weeks, keep in mind that this is competition where you risk much more than the normal trading life. You don't apply the same measures, the same risk measures, and the same strategies in your daily trading. Your capital is your business, so you need to protect your capital. But in the competition, your business is to get the highest ROI as you could. So I just don't want, all of us here, we have our audience, we have our followers, and all of us, we don't need these people actually to, to be fascinated by some kind of temporary results during the high leverage, during the competition, and then trying to apply the same method for their entire capital, because it's totally different game. Even if you saw me or Korosh or Josh or Ryan, any of us, even if you saw us like doing X2, X3, maybe X5 even during the competition, this never means that we do the same in the real life when we trade with our entire capital. This is very important, actually. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Faraz. That's a very important note and something all our listeners should be paying attention to. And with that, I'm going to move on to the next part, which syncs up quite nicely with what you've said, and that is the emotional challenges that come with a trading competition. We've talked about the specific strategies, how to approach that, but emotionally, how do you handle this? Ryan, you touched on the psychological warfare element. What measures should we have in place going into this competition to be able to counter these sorts of things?
Oh, you asking me directly?
Oh, anyone. That was open to anyone.
I would like to share my experience from recent competitions I have participated with. Actually, I can say there are three kinds of participants. Let's say the successful participants, and what's happening due to psychological issues. Actually, we are humans, we are not machines. So I have seen many people at the beginning of each competition going very fast and with very high PNL to the leaderboard. Actually, then whenever you see others are start to get near to them, suddenly you see they are just disappearing. So I assume they got, how to say, they are trying to protect their position, they are trying to grow faster, and then they got maybe liquidated, or they lose the advance that they had in the beginning. The other part also, it's always happening. I see the middle part of the leaderboard, it's always changing, because whenever someone start to see his name, like in that his team maybe, or his personal name in the maybe top 10, 9, 8, starts thinking that, okay, I'm doing very well. Okay, let me increase my risk or push harder so I can get to the top 3 maybe. And usually this also, psychological point of view also, you overtrust yourself, and accordingly they are failing. Generally, most of the times I see people, I mean, at the end of the competition, we see names that are totally different than the first names you see at the first 1 or 2 or 3 days. Because of this issue, maybe some people overtrust their positions or their success rate, so they keep risking more, and eventually they get liquidated maybe, or they lose their advantage. The other part is the people in the middle of the leaderboard, also trying to push harder to achieve maybe first 1 or 2 or 3 positions. So also accordingly leading to some mistake. So if you got something working for you, just keep doing it. Okay, if X10 is going well with you, just keep doing it. X20, okay. But if you got successful with X20, then you try to go with X100. One mistake, it will be your last mistake. Actually, you will not see yourself in the leaderboard again. Now, you can just load your account with this very small amount, 0.02 BTC, I remember. But mentally, it's not about money. Actually, the competition is about how to say, it's a game. You got fun, like a video game. Everyone would like to be the first one. So mental game, actually, it's more like mental game than a normal trading with risk management, all of these issues. So even if you couldn't see your name in the top at the beginning, stay if you are what you are doing. If it's going well, just keep doing it, because these names are keep changing. People got overtrust, or people try to push harder, then accordingly they are pushing themselves to fail. So if you are doing well, just keep doing well. That's it. Thank you.
So Bill the Blaster Zero from chat has said it's about the frill. And it's quite nice because when we are in the markets ourselves, if you're trading for a frill, you'll normally lose your money. But here in a competition, you can actually trade for a frill because you're incentivized to use those higher risks, those higher to get those higher rewards and percentage ROIs. And Faraz, thank you for covering more of the personal side of the emotional challenge. Ryan earlier touched on the psychological warfare side as well. You're trying to give your opposition mental disadvantages. So when you get up there at a certain position in the ROI board, you can perhaps sit back and wait for them to make a mistake and then play off of that. So there's the emotional side covered. And now we move to the final part of the final part of this segment, which is the final stages of a competition. Josh, Faraz, Ryan, when you've gotten to that last stretch, what has been, say, the one most important thing which has helped you get through it and do well during it?
I'll add something first. So
please, Jack.
I think this competition period is close or covered the election day, right? So
yes,
yeah, it'll be more specific. So and also will be the later phase of this competition. So people have to keep in mind that as we see that volatility is low right now, but I would expect that in the later phase of the competition, the volatility will get higher since we're close to the election day. So which make the game more fun. I think they could have a lot of actions over there, and the leaderboard I expect will change dramatically. So that's something different for maybe for some other competition that happened before. So that's probably could change a lot of things. But just to, I totally agree with the previous speakers about that. You have to, if you have a plan, so and find out it's doing great, so just keep doing it in the right way. If you want to catch up, maybe you can do a little bit aggressive at the last phase to catch up. So I don't think there's any gold guideline guarantee or gold strategy guarantee that you can win, but definitely that you have to focus those kind of coming events which could impact the game in the later phase.
Thank you very much, Jack. Absolutely. There's a lot which can be done differently towards the ends. Ramp up the risk if you need to, scale back the risk if you're on top. And yeah, that covers that. Does anyone else have any tips for the final stages of the competition before we end this segment of the show?
I would say just to keep a reminder that it's a team, right? So again, if you're doing well, don't go and blow it for your team. Like don't get overly aggressive. I definitely communicate. I mean, don't take the half court shot with a few seconds left when you're doing okay. And it's one of those things. So I think just maintain what you're doing. I think everybody's said it consistently. And if you are in the end, and maybe some of your teammates are doing really well, and you're kind of in the back end of that, I would say just keep what you're doing, because again, you want to keep your total overall team intact. So just think of your team is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you very much, Josh. Again, bringing in that team element, how you can communicate with each other to try get the best ROI. Last stages, it becomes increasingly important. If you're ahead and perhaps someone else isn't that far ahead, well, the competition's about to end. Time to ramp up the risk and see if you can get higher and help your team out. That actually does bring us to the end of this segment. So I'm going to give it back to Victoria.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, actually, Jack, Faraz, Kurush, Ryan, Josh, thank you for this great discussion, guys. It's always interesting to listen to your discussions, and I can't wait to use these strategies during this competition, and can't wait to see if actually one of your teams wins. And just to remind to our viewers, if you want to join Ryan and Josh in Phemex Traders Arena, join the Blockroots team. And if you want to trade with Kurush, join the AKA team. And if you want to join Faraz in this battle, join Scalping Legends team, or become a team captain yourself and create your own team. And before we finish, also some of the viewers have posted a couple of questions for you in the comment sections of this live stream. And I think it would be great if you could give us a brief answer to some of them. And the questions you pick win a $50 trading bonus. And if you see your question being picked, please contact us on Twitter to receive the trading bonus. And Kurush, could you please take over with the questions?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some great ones on the YouTube chat. Is there anywhere else I should be looking? I want to give everyone a fair chance for this $50. No, just the YouTube? Okay, perfect. Let's see. So Michael de Pape has said, okay, no, that is not one we're going to use. Okay, so how will you approach those times where there will be an announcement or news that will affect Bitcoin during the competition? Is it better to wait for the news or speculate to it? Now, specifically with regards to the competition, I don't have that much experience, so I'm not sure. But when it comes to my trading, that is something I can give advice on, is I treat news as guaranteed volatility. I don't try to predict whether it's going up or down, but I know leading up to that event or at the time of that event, there will be a lot of volatility. Now, how do you want to play that volatility depends on your risk tolerance. If you're doing well in the competition, perhaps wait for the event to happen and then hop on the trend, whatever that ends up being. Or if you need to take that risk, up your leverage, up your risk for the competition, and try perhaps to predict the move, catch it early, and get that maximum ROI. That would be my response. Would anyone else like to add to that?
Yeah, maybe a good response, Bruce. Maybe what you do is, as when you're like, say you're trading some type of event-driven trading in traditional markets or some type of potential headline risk, even though headline risk, you don't really, that there's something that might be coming up that could cause it, but you don't always have an idea that it's necessarily, you don't always necessarily know that it's coming. But maybe what you do is you have your teammates that haven't been performing as exceptionally, and you position them sort of like a strangle around the current price as if you were playing with options. So you have one go high leverage long, you have one go high leverage short, you have them place their stops really tight, and you look to take advantage of a breakout in volatility and close out the wrong leg of the trade.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ryan. That sounds like a great strategy, which could definitely work because if you get volatility, you win that position. Now, let's see what else we have questions-wise. Okay, now this is one which often gets asked. What are the 3 most important indicators you guys are using? Now, I'm going to take that back and talk about one. What's one indicator which you think is very useful in the context of a trading competition? Does anyone have one they'd like to share?
I would like to share actually. Since we use the high leverage, and Ryan mentioned this, he will be trying to catch some wicks maybe, or some edge actually on the move. And all of us, we know that volume is the best indicator. So any potential local bottom or any potential local top will be associated with high volume. So I actually, if you told me MACD or whatever, there are hundreds of indicators, but all of them are lagging indicators actually. I believe volume is the best indicator to be used actually. If you mentioned one indicator to be used, I will pick the volume. If we have other options, actually, I will add RSI to the volume. Some others also prefers OBV, also OBV and volume. Yes, that's it.
Thank you, Faraz. Did someone have something to add? I felt someone was about to add something.
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
No, whenever he was finishing, I was saying great point.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. Yes, I would agree. Fantastic point. Thank you for sharing those, Faraz. So that answers that question. And now to move on to another one, and this is something we did cover in the earlier talks, and that is what timeframes would you guys recommend? Faraz covered this very nicely where he was talking about going for the lower timeframes. Now, which of the lower timeframes do you pick? The 1 minute, the 3 minute, the 5 minute, 15, or there are even 10-second charts now. What I am planning on doing is using the timeframes I use for my normal scalping and trading. Those are the ones I am comfortable with. Those are the ones where I have a good feel for the flow of the market. Those are the ones I normally use. That's where all my data is tested. That's what I'm good at. So that's what I'm going to stick to, the lower timeframes that I normally use. So that would be my answer. Would anyone like to add?
Yeah, sorry, Kurt. I don't want too much silence. I think it's a good point. If you have a lower time frame system, well, first and foremost, I think like Faraz said in the beginning, your approach is really going to have to be around the lower time frame because it's going to be difficult to put on any kind of swing positions that are meaningful. I think that given the way that volatility is this low for this long now, that we are sort of approaching that inflection point. We only spend this much time at this level of low volatility, but aside from that, you could continue to go on for another week without really much action. I would want to be present whenever we do get that major expansion and ideally try to capture a portion of that because I think that it is coming soon. But again, it's sort of a fool's errand to try to predict or wait around for that. So yeah, I think the lower timeframes are going to be where you need to do most of your action. Me personally, my lower timeframe chart, I will usually use something that's not time-based. So I'll use something that's either based on volume or volatility. So it's some type of range bar or some type of volume generated bar, which is anywhere from a 500 million contract, not 500 million, that's a lot, 500,000 contract or a 1 million contract bar. But you could sort of replicate the same thing with a 3-minute or a 5-minute bar. And I'll probably stick to those intervals.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Extremely useful. Now, Victoria, are we taking more questions or are we moving on right now?
We can take one more question if it's...
Perfect. I have one more, which we can ask. So let's go with... yeah, we'll go with this one. So Mikhail de Pep, and I don't know how to pronounce that, P-A-E-P-E, has asked, what would you recommend for a first competitor regarding choosing a team? Do you choose a team with a lot of members, or would you rather choose a small team? What's the optimal team size for a competition like this? Now, I actually have not thought about this specific topic, so if anyone else has thoughts on whether a smaller team or a larger team is better, I'd love to hear that.
Actually, it depends. Yeah.
Go ahead, Faris.
Yeah. Actually, it depends. If you will be trading separately, alone, without being apart. I mean, some teams will be communicating with each other, while some teams are just random people submitting their name under such team. So if you will not be in direct connection with specific team, I think the bigger team will be providing more opportunity to the team itself to be a winner, because if the team is big, as I understood from the rules, so they will be taking the top maybe top 40 traders ROI. So it will eliminate some bad results inside the team. But if there is a chance to be a part of a team where the team will be trading together and sharing knowledge, setups, updates on the market, someone watch some news, someone share something, someone see something on chart. So there are two kind of games actually here. You can choose the bigger team or the team which you will be able to communicate with effectively. I mean, let's say if I'm running a team with 1,000 member, I will not be able maybe to effectively be like this. So every team leader actually will have some kind of a strategy, and I suggest the members to have their chance. I mean, every different choice has different advantages and disadvantages. So I don't think there is a magical answer for this. The big team will help they will be selecting the top traders out of it. The smaller team, maybe they will have some kind of more interaction with each other. So
if I could just second that, if we have time, I think that it actually is good to have a high team amount, because you are taking if you have a team that's under 40, I think, you're taking the ROI of the top 10, and if it's above 40, you're taking the top ROI the ROI from the top 25%. So I think that the same way that people try to get on the leaderboard on other big exchanges, on their exchange's personal leaderboard, not in trading competitions, is they're higher frequency traders that run a bunch of strategies. They'll run thousands of strategies, a ton of different iterations to try to really essentially win the lottery with one approach. So I think that the more times that you spin the wheel, the more approaches that you throw at the market, the more likely you are to return something that is outsized in returns, right? That offers an asymmetric return. And that being said, when you have something that's that high, and you see some of the leaderboards, they go up thousands of percent, that is sort of the outlier that can really sway the total distribution of that top decile or that top percentage of your team. So I think it is useful to have a pretty large team.
Yeah, it does make sense. I don't see any disadvantage to having a larger team. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Ryan. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the trading competition, and hopefully our listeners have gained something really useful out of that. Let's move on to the last topic we're going to discuss, and that's going to be a little bit about recent events in crypto, particularly a lot of big public companies now are taking more and more sizable Bitcoin positions. What does this mean for the space? What are our guests' general thoughts on this event? If someone would like to offer their insights into what this means for the space.
I think
okay, I will. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think all of us, we agree to the same idea. So we are in, all assets. It's a demand and supply game. And we know the Bitcoin supply is very limited. I think it was around 1,800 Bitcoins daily before the halving. It's now around 900 or something. So the more institutional and big names, let's say, in the world, advising or buying Bitcoin and advising their investors to buy Bitcoin, we all know that Bitcoin supply is very limited and it's going to be smaller and smaller. So this is generally on the high time frames, this is bullish, this is good for Bitcoin. Especially also that kind of investment firms, let's say, they are not that kind of the traders or the whales that they buy today and they suddenly market sell maybe 2 days later or something. So usually they are long-term investors. They are building positions for multiple years. So this is, I believe, I think we all agree that this is bullish for Bitcoin for the long term.
Thank you, Faris. Yeah, I absolutely agree that companies taking position, just the media attention alone it's getting is definitely bullish for Bitcoin and the space. One thing to note, though, is most of these companies are taking sub 5%, as little as 1% positions as well. So you can view them as somewhat of a hedge as well, not just a straight flat out Bitcoin is bullish, Bitcoin is great. There are definitely some other factors at play here. Does anyone else have anything to add to this awesome piece of news?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think one of the things that I think of whenever I see like a Paul Tudor Jones come out and take a position, not so much MicroStrategy. I didn't know about MicroStrategy beforehand, but when you have bigger players come in, it sort of in a way gives other people permission to either admit their interest, whether that's a actual share interest off balance sheet, or just at least kind of provokes them into maybe looking a little bit further, because crypto is stigmatized to some degree by legacy market participants. So I think one of the better things about it is, again, it validates it. It gives it sort of this proof of concept, right? This has a place in a portfolio, and like you said, that is going to be a small portion of the portfolio, even though that is, it's a meaningful amount of money. It's going to be a small portion of the portfolio, because if it is this store of value that offers hopefully asymmetric returns, it's going to be more like a tail hedge than anything else. You're not going to want to put a dominant portion of your portfolio in Bitcoin, even though most people within crypto that are retail probably do.
Yes, absolutely. And use the word crypto. Most people that are in crypto put a large portion of their portfolio in crypto as a whole. And that is normally, if Twitter polls have any accuracy, more altcoins than Bitcoin in general. And these companies, they're buying Bitcoin, not altcoins, not random things. Specifically, Bitcoin is what is being used. Ethereum is getting more and more attention, but still not at the same level as Bitcoin. Now that covers that there. Does anyone else have any thoughts they'd like to add to our final topic? No, thank you very much. Then I am going to now hand it to Victoria.
Yeah, thanks, Karush. And well, actually, that's about it for today from us. And we are done with the third episode of the Phemex Crypto Talk. And we hope this live stream made you even more excited for the upcoming trading competitions. And those who haven't decided yet will register for the competition right away. And special thank you to everyone who has joined us today and took part in the live stream. We really appreciate your support. And we hope to see you again during the next episode of our Crypto Talk real soon. And special thank you to our guests, Jack, Ferris, Ryan, Josh, and our main host, Karush. You were all so amazing. And we will be really looking forward to meeting with you again in the future on our Crypto Talk. Thank you all, and see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you,
you,
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. Bye, everyone.